Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 15th day of May, 2019. Well, 15 reduces to 6, so it's a 6 energy, so we're talking about higher self-influences and harmony. Understanding reciprocity. Wanting to do reciprocity. That's the higher self-influence of 6 coming in. Well, if it's your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. And if you've come back, welcome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. As we grow our Rune and Tarot family here. But let's get started because my husband and I have to take a water sample in. He's our system operator for our little water association. We have 14 homes on it, and so rather than paying a water testing company to come out and do it, he took it back over a couple years ago when we had to put in a new well. He didn't like what was going on, so we changed testing companies, and he started doing the testing again. He used to do it years ago, but then they were the testing company we were using had a deal where they wouldn't charge us because they were here local in our city, our town. And so they didn't charge us for a pickup fee. And so they just came and did it, and it was fine. But then we changed, and all of a sudden, I don't know. Anyhow, the things are good now. So he's going to do a sample here in a bit, and we're going to take it up. So let's get going, and that way I can help him. So anyhow, we'll draw our first card. Well, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Maybe it's talking about taking the water sample in, I don't know. Mundane issues of life. We have a hand reaching out from the clouds, holding a coin. Pentacles is about the earth element, about our physical presence and form, our wealth, our security, home, family, career. The simplest explanation is about money. So something to do with our security and the mundane aspects of life, something new. Or it could just simply mean that we have an overall concern about our financial security. Well, not too much of one, because here, again, another 1 energy. 10 is a 1 energy. So new beginnings. Aces are 1s, and so those are new beginnings. But here, this is legacy, isn't it? We see grandpa there. We see, quite possibly either his son or daughter and their spouse. You see the dogs. But we see the archway, don't we? We see the tower in the distance. He has everything he needs, doesn't he? As I drop it on the floor. He has everything he needs, but at the same time, you're seeing with the archway, you're seeing almost like a passage, a transition, a handing off of the responsibility from one generation to another. He has everything he needs, but he's ready to hand that off to others, to his family, to his children. Maybe it's indicating maybe new wealth coming into your life, maybe an inheritance. Could have something to do with that. Or past fruits, or past action bearing fruit. Not past fruits bearing action. Let's do a third card. Well, we have the moon, And that's the 18th card of the major arcana. So a 9 energy. So again, completion. But again, here we're seeing the pillars and the pathway and the lobster of regeneration, the light and dark within. We see the two dogs, light and dark. We see the pillars, which is a pathway or the middle way, sometimes it's thought of. It can mean a decision. Here it can mean balance. But we see the dogs barking at the moon, and the moon isn't particularly happy about that. The moon can be about mystery. It can mean about deception. It can mean, in this case, though, I'm not sure what it's got to do with our foundation other than the fact that we need to see what's hidden, maybe. Voluntary change. So it could be that maybe there was something going on in the family. Maybe there was an estrangement of some kind, and now people are coming back together with maybe a new awareness of what it is to be human, what it is to be a family, what it is to be, in unity. That maybe all that was keeping people apart was an illusion. I think we're going to put the moon first. We're going to move these cards around today. Maybe we were operating under illusion or deception of some kind, and then something new came about where we began to understand that maybe the picture is bigger than we know, and that maybe we reacted in a way that was not maybe the healthiest, more reactionary than maybe standing back with wisdom and looking at something dispassionately. But let's do a rune. Almost like you have to. It's one of those dark night of the soul cards, which is way too much of a pity party for my taste, but whatever. But we're having to understand that things aren't always the way we think they are, and sometimes instead of what things are, it's what we've perceived them to be. So it's not so much about getting it right as much as making a decision that this is what we think it is. And that's not necessarily what it is, right? Here we have Kinaz, which is the torch. And again, the 6th rune of the Elder Futhark, so it aligns with today's 6th energy. Having an awakening from higher self, informing that process, basically. So basically, we've awakened to the deception or the illusion within. So we're going to put that rune between the moon and the Ace of Pentacles. And we're realizing that maybe something we've been thinking just isn't right. And a way that the direction that we've been proceeding in is not really taking care of our fundamental needs, our mundane needs. But the mundane needs, you see, they're everything. It's family, it's career, it's work, it's our financial security, as we said. I'm going to do one geomantic rune here and see what it has to say. Well, there's water. That's a 1. Everything else is 2. Let's see where they go, though. Okay, so that's earth. That's water. Fire's up here. So, well, that's Albus. Now, Albus is the opposite of Rubeus, actually, and we had that Monday, I guess it was. I dropped it on the floor. And then we had Pur. This one here is Pur, and this one's Rubeus. Now watch as I draw. I'm going to do it on this one. I'm going to draw Albus. Albus is wisdom. It's about the sage. I mean, if you want to think of Albus Dumbledore. I love how J.K. Rowling used geomancy rune names for some of the names of the teachers. Uh, Rubius Hagrid. But you see, there's a difference, isn't it? You can see it's just the opposite. Wisdom versus too much passion. Being calm and centered. Think the hermit. Think the hanged man. Probably more so the hermit, though. Well, that's really interesting. That's really interesting because basically what we've got here is we've been living under some illusion, and it's self-illusion, self-deception. We've gotten out of balance, and maybe the ego has reacted, and we need another direction. And something has come in, some information, or just awareness, perhaps. Or maybe we've had a conversation with someone else who's maybe given us a different perspective or offered a different perspective, or maybe shed some light on what we thought we believed. But the moon is about emotions. And so our emotions have been really, really, we thought maybe we were doing the right thing, but maybe we're not. And that's going to be upsetting as well, to realize that we were maybe wrong and maybe misjudged a situation and hurt people maybe. Or at least contributed to a difficult situation. But then Kenaz comes into play, and we know now, don't we? Kenaz is the torch. It's to know. And now we know. And then we're offered a new undertaking here, a new foundation with the Ace of Pentacles, leading to maybe a transfer of either a shared sense of wealth or a shared sense of experience, maybe, with the Ten of Pentacles. But clearly something has shifted due to some awareness that we've gained. And now this is creating a better foundation or structure for us. And then, we've gone from the moon to Albus, from being out of balance to now expressing wisdom in our life. Source presence wisdom, seeing through the eyes of source vision. Well, that's really cool. I hope that that's happening for someone today. That's awesome. Or if not, these are the choices you have. You can choose to wake up. You can choose to realign and bring your emotions into a better center, and see through the eyes of higher self. And offer a new experience to those in your world. That's fundamental. That's about your the legacy that you give, that you extend to others. You don't have to wait until you're old to have a legacy. The legacy is who we are with one another. You've got that one friend that you can always count on. Well, that's my friend I can always count on. That's their legacy. Or that one friend that always makes you laugh. That's their legacy, isn't it? That person made me laugh when I most needed it. That's their legacy. Or I can count on that person to tell me the truth, especially when I'm being an idiot. That one friend will tell me when I'm being an idiot. That's their legacy. So lots of ways to express that. But clearly something has been out of balance. Maybe deception, illusion has been in play, and now the light is returned. So maybe a little more wisdom. Well, awesome. Something wonderful to take with you today. I, however, have to go and take a water sample in, so yay. It's all right. It's a nice drive to where we go take it, and the people there are so nice, and we appreciate them greatly. So this is a lovely thing, anyway, that we found them. They were recommended, and we just couldn't be happier. So in any event, thank you so much for coming by. I will see you tomorrow, and I had forgotten about this little thing we have to do here today. So otherwise, I'd probably spend a little bit more time. But I think really, this sums it up. You know, we've maybe been living under a little bit of illusion, fooling ourselves, and now we see something that's gives us a doorway into something else. I wanted to point one thing out here. You see the archway in this card. Well, you have one over here in the Ace of Pentacles as well, don't you? You see? So I really do think that we're talking about something new on the horizon here, to either bring people back together, to reestablish the foundation in our lives, typically having to do with family, and the legacy that we have within that whole thing. So in any event, thanks so much. Click subscribe. I'd love you to do that. I did do a Paulina Tarot. I couldn't help myself. I had to do it. I did a Paulina Tarot reading. It's up there. That deck is so cool. Oh my God. I mean, it is just so cool. So check that out if you want to over at imsteppingaside.com. Anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.